Welcome to Two Queens and Crystal Things, the podcast where we are on some manifest your life, shift your mind, and raise the consciousness type of shit, because it's time.
It's time, you guys.
Welcome to Season 2, Episode 2.
Yeah.
On January, today we're recording on Inauguration Day. It's January 20th. Today's a palindrome. So everywhere you go, 1/20/21, it's the same way front.
Oh, yeah. You see how smart she is? So smart.
I am Mia.
And I'm Christy, and you can consider us your spiritual girlfriends for the next hour or so. All right, so last week we discussed how to shake off 2020 and embrace this new opportunity of newness in 2021. And so even though 2021 didn't necessarily start off feeling like a fresh start for many, it's okay, because this is a year, it's a perfect opportunity to be reminded of one of the greatest lessons ever, and that is to control what you can, which is yourself, and release what you can't, which is anything outside of you. And so that is a word right there.
And you know what? That goes perfectly and segues perfectly into what we're talking about. So today we are talking about the power of choice. So I know you guys have heard us talk about this in
it's like my new favorite thing
episodes. Like this is kind of like my jam.
It is.
So we talk about how we chose to be here on this earth, how our children chose us for the people who are our moms, our dads, how we choose to respond in situations. We are choosing every single day.
Yep.
And if you think about it, there's nothing else in the world that you can control. It's your choices. Okay? So, what you choose, I should say. So there is a duality that lives within us, both light and dark, and every day and every moment, in every way, we get to choose what side of the fence we're going to be on and where we feel, well, maybe we can ride that fence. Anyway.
Yep.
So, what do you think, Christy? This is her new jam, this power of choice. I really, I'm just... Let me tell you something. I'm going to wait till we get into it. Because this is some very freeing
Well,
shit.
I'll say that this is something that I consciously came into. I've done it, and I've acknowledged that I had power of choice. But to really, sit and think about it, wow, I really do have a choice. It really, honestly, last year, December, November, just the freedom to make a choice and to know that I have the power. So, anyway, but since I came to an understanding of it, it's become a game changer for me. And like I mentioned, so this was during my angelic Reiki training. It just hit me. It's like, we actually have the power of choice. And there are a lot of situations that I've been in, and I know that some of my friends, because this is another reason why this came up, because one of my friends was in a situation, and it was as if she didn't have a choice. I'm like, but you have a choice.
You do, though.
But, we find ourselves in situations where we feel like we don't have a choice, but in reality we do. And when you realize this as the driver of your own journey, you get to take your power back. So,
when you think about it, the power of choice plays a very major role in everything. It's in the relationships that we form, the jobs that we go after, the jobs that we keep or stay at, how we treat our bodies.
Yep.
Hell, look, I'm literally
it's all a choice.
Anything. It's all a choice. So, and because it's so central to every aspect of our lives, remember we talked about control what you can, right?
Yep.
And because it's so central that it's time for us to deep dive into this and really break down why this is so important and why it's so good for everybody, and especially when we're talking about this spiritually, okay? So, we have this quote from Anthony Robbins.
Yeah.
So, using the power of decision gives you the capacity to get past any excuse to change any and every part of your life in an instant. So, just listen to that. Using the power of your choice gives you the capacity to get past any excuse, anything that you're saying it can't change because of this. Oh, I don't have an option. That gets past any of all of that, and then in every part of your life, instantly you can change your life.
Yeah.
And honestly, and that is the power of choice. The power that comes out of making choices and decisions for you is that you can change your life instantly with a decision.
Yeah.
For good or bad, or you know.
And I do think that that's one of the reasons why people almost put themselves in a situation where they feel like they can't make a choice, because it releases them for being accountable to change.
And then you can be a victim. It's like, I'm just a victim of my circumstances, and then it allows you to feel some comfort, and instead of taking some that, you know, I'm here. But that's also disempowering because you feel like you can't do anything about it. And that's where they got your dumb ass.
But you can. No, but it's true.
Yes.
All right, so let's talk about how our present choices impact our future lives.
Ooh. Okay, so I like to think of it like this, you guys. You know, we talk a lot about planting seeds. Mm-hmm. We use that analogy a lot because, you know, any analogy where you are describing life is really powerful because everybody understands life and death. So the decisions that you're making right now, today, are seeds. Mm. And when it's harvest season, they are affecting your future, right? So that's something to think about. So also think about this then. Where you are today is also the result of the seeds that you planted 3 months ago or 6 months ago. So where you are in your spiritual journey, if you think back, it's like, oh, I remember when I planted those seeds. Now look at where I am. It's so beautiful to see your growth because it's like positive encouragement, you know?
Yeah.
So what do you think, Christy?
I mean, just like you said, you know, it's like planting seeds. I agree with that. Sorry.
Well, no,
started kicking.
No, it's just if you think about it though, like because if we're all connected, that means all of our experiences are connected. So any decisions that I make today, of course, are going to impact my future, which is why you want to really think about them, especially when you think about the decisions that you made that were not aligned in your highest good and how they ended up impacting your life.
This is true. But I will say that, you know, when you are making a choice, I think it's important for you to like weigh the costs. Like, okay, if I make this choice, this is what's going to happen, or this is what has potential to happen, or if I make this choice, this is what I have. So that way you have a better understanding of how it's going to affect your life.
Okay, I got an example. This is going to be very risque. Okay,
ooh,
or people gonna be mad about this. So let's take the Bill Cosby cases. We about to talk about the power of choice and take the bill. Okay, so as you all know, you know, Bill Cosby has been accused of several crimes against women. Some real like terrible stuff. And when you listen to some of the stories and the testimonies of some of these women, they talk about how, you know, when they met him, you know how charming is freaking Bill Cosby, especially during that time, girl. Like he was like a fucking unicorn, like real talk. So you know he's charming and he can put you on. It's like Bill Cosby was the voice of African Americans, like the one little voice of African Americans. And that people were amenable to. He wasn't polarizing. So I get it. Like he can help put you on. And of course he's trying to leverage that. When I listen to these stories, there's women they're like, you know, I went over there, I woke up without my clothes on, I don't remember. And then they say, then, you know, every time I went over there, this happened. Every time. Okay, so no shade, no for real, like dead ass. But when I read something like that, it makes me think about the power of choice. So, not that this man should be doing that, but this is what you made a decision. You made a choice and decision after the first time. So you decided that the possibility of me being a superstar is more important to me than going over here where I know that I'm about to get drugged and probably raped. Because after the first fucking time,
right,
and you went back and went back and went back, at this point you're making a choice.
Right. And actually before that point, I'm sure there were flags that popped up.
But you see what I'm saying? So not to say, and again, this is not saying that what this man did was not wrong.
Right.
Like there should always be consent. Like, don't fucking touch somebody unless they have given you their verbal coherent consent. Right. Hands down, there's no ifs, ands, or buts
and
about it.
I'm mature enough to do so.
Right. Ooh, bitch. Okay. Woo!
That's another story.
Girl, that's a whole nother. But at the same time, you when you know what you're walking into, you make a choice and a decision. You can't trust that somebody, he's not going to be who he was the last 10 times you were over here. You got to make a decision and a choice for you. So that's what I mean when I say the power of choice. There is no, I couldn't get out of it. No, you just decided what was more important to you at that time.
No, that's true.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so I was reading somewhere that the choices we make are formed out of habits. And so whether that's a good habit or a bad habit. And so basically...
Wait, so the choices... Wait, say that again.
So choices we make are formed out of habits.
Okay. So basically... Okay. So
and if you want to make healthier choices, you need to break unhealthy habits.
Okay, so spiritually, I would think of that as... when you have formed a habit, or your ego has a vision of who you are and what you really want. So you have a decision to make, and you're saying what you're looking for is validation of the decision that you know is not right for you. But so you're looking spiritually. You're like, I just need a sign, and so somebody say, little fuck boy, you trying to, figure out if you should let him go because he's terrible. He treats you like a terrible person, and he texts you with 111. It's a sign. It's a sign. It's a sign that I'm supposed to give him another chance.
Nope.
You know what I mean? So spiritually, when you put energy out there, you're trying to. Sometimes people will read and look into something for what it is that they want to validate instead of opening themselves up to the real answer.
Facts.
And that's based off of your habits and your patterns. You're like, no, this is what I want it to be. So I'm looking for anything that validates that. And you have like big glaring red lights over here. They smacking you upside the head, throwing crystals at you. Yeah. And you're like, no, I don't feel that. No.
Show me a sign.
Show me a sign.
A real sign.
Tell me. And they're like, are you kidding me? So these are decisions. So you have made the choice in your head, and whether or not, and we try to fake like not consciously, but no, consciously you made a decision in your head that I'm going to do everything to validate what I want it to be. So again, it's like I asked, I was guided this way. It's like, were you really though? But again, these are about choices that we're making for ourselves. So let's talk about choices versus abilities, okay? So often, we all know somebody like this. We have all met somebody in our lives where you are, you're like, this person is absolutely freaking amazing, like a genius, especially when in younger people. Like, there's no way that they are not, going to be the next Jeff Bezos or whatever it is, right? And then they make decisions in their life that are poor, that does not match their level of ability. And now they are, how many basketball players do y'all know who was the next Michael Jordan? Like, legitimately, but they made poor decisions. And look, I can go down the list of 100,000 in Chicago alone, okay? But they made some poor choices. That didn't negate what their ability was. They made poor choices. Let's talk about how many professional sports players come in. They're amazing at what they do. They make a so much money. They made poor choices, and now they are
choices.
They are, destitute.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that they didn't have the ability. So when you're talking about choices versus people's ability, just because somebody has an ability to do something, just think about that. A God-given talent to do something. But that free will, boy, we talking about that free will.
Free will will
And
get you.
your choices are what decide your station. Mm-hmm. So, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
No, that's true. And even though you are talented, it still doesn't mean that you just get to fly by. You still have to put through you still have to put the work in.
Yep.
Let's talk about choosing the life you desire. So we didn't really touch on this when we did our manifestation episode, but this is an area that we have a choice.
So think of it like this. Especially, and I especially say this to the ladies, that when you think about it, we are creators.
Yep.
Like we literally create life inside of us. But as humans, no matter your gender, you are a creator, right? Because you need both sides in order to create something. Mm-hmm. But why, when you think about how magical and beautiful and powerful that is, why do we sometimes forget that we have that power to create what we want, literally in every aspect of our life? And it's literally just making this right here that I'm looking at right now, because you have to think about how many people have created new lives for themselves and they didn't know what was on the other side of it. Wow. But they knew it wasn't this. Yeah. It's like I'm gonna create whatever it is. And so we stopped doing that. Mm-hmm. So when you accept what's in front of you, or you just decide not to make a decision. You just like, okay, I'm just going to live, and it's like, just following the crowd.
And a lot of people are like that.
And yes, there are a lot of people
but we have a choice, and if there is a life that you desire to live, mm-hmm. you have the power and the magic to make it happen. We were just talking about this before we started recording. I was like, my life is completely different than it was a year ago. Completely different. I never would have seen this at all.
Dang, my life is actually kind of funny. I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. Yeah. This is keeping it real. My life is definitely not where it was a year ago. It's not what I thought it would have been.
Right.
But I have no regrets.
Yeah, I have no regrets.
I have no regrets. I have no, like, real talk.
Like when I talk to people and they find out about the divorce, like, oh, I'm so sorry. It's like, no, this is actually a good thing. It's good.
You're like, no sorry.
No. Yeah.
She's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we're talking about choices, let's talk about relationships.
Ooh.
Okay. We love some love around here.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay, this is actually, I love this question. Is love a choice? Ooh. Is love a choice? Ooh.
I know. And I'm stumped. Because somebody was like, well, no, you can make a choice, but...
Okay. This is... I'm like, okay. My perspective on is love or choice. I think the actual emotion... Okay, I'm stumped okay. This is where I am right now.
Okay.
I think the actual emotion, the feeling of love is definitely not a choice. I don't think it's a choice. I really don't. I think there is something about anybody who's felt that. It's just something about, out of nothing that makes sense tells me that I should love this person, but I do. It makes no sense, but I do. Mm-hmm. That's, to me... There's something, I don't know if you can necessarily choose that, because think about it. You'll meet somebody in your life who's perfect on paper and you're trying to make yourself love this motherfucker, but you don't. It's something, now the emotion I think is not, but how you respond and act in love is definitely your choice.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Now, I can follow.
But can you choose to love someone? Like, so I had this discussion.
So
I had this discussion with someone, and they're like, "Oh, well, I would never fall in love with someone outside of my race because I'm making the choice to love them." And I'm just like,
interesting.
Well, I don't know that you can make a choice. Like, you love who you love.
Well, okay. Well, it depends on what type of love. So make a choice. I think you can make a choice to love somebody. I don't think you can make a choice to be sexually attracted to somebody. I don't think you can make yourself be attracted to somebody. That's some biological.
But
if I'm not attracted to you, but I can love you.
But you make the choice to open yourself up to that person.
But that's not necessarily love. Oh, girl, it's entire businesses out here where women they're giving the conception that I'm opening myself up to you, but I don't love. You know what I mean? Like, this is a business transaction. I don't think that. I think that you can choose to love people despite the things that they do, or in spite of the things that they do.
Yeah.
So yes, you can choose there, but I think when it comes to things that are, I can choose that I'm going to love you in a way that I choose that I love everybody in this world because I know that we are one. So that's a decision and a choice that I'm making. Does that mean that I'm attracted to the whole entire world? No, that means that because I love me, I love everyone. Because I understand that we all come from the same place, despite all the dividers we try to put between us. That's a choice.
But you also made the choice to open yourself up to learn about yourself in that way, where other people may not.
And that's a choice.
Yeah.
That's a love.
Okay.
But back to the question is love a choice? I think that if you know yourself and love yourself, love is not a choice. It's just because that's who the fuck you are.
That is true. But what if you don't love yourself then? So now
you're making decisions to open yourself up to, I want to know what this feels like. And oftentimes it's like, I want to love. I don't know how to give it to me yet, but there's something about you makes me want to give this to you. I think yes, though. I think that's a decision. I think that's a choice.
Yeah.
But there's something
there
about
are
that.
levels to this shit.
Right? I mean, that's a hard one. Because I think
you guys let us know. What do you think?
I know, seriously.
What do you think?
That one's hard.
Is love a choice? Let us know.
Okay, I got one. Arranged marriages.
Right.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not against them.
Me neither. Oh, I already had a husband ready for time.
I'm not necessarily against it now, because I understand in our world, marriage it's a business. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, if you are lucky to be able to be in love at the beginning of the choice of starting this business, then you're lucky. But there's something to that. Do you know how many people go through arranged marriages and they choose to love the person that they're with? Like I feel like and truly love and have till death do us part relationships and faithful and honor with this person that they didn't necessarily choose for themselves, but they chose to love them. Like, that's love to me. Like, I really and I think that at some point you chose. It's my duty, and I'm choosing. I'm going to love this person that was assigned to me. At some point, though, something switches over to where I'm just loving this person. Right. I guess what you would call like the in love, where it's just coming part of it. But there had to be a choice at first, though. Yeah.
So basically,
oh Lord.
Right. We're saying that love is a choice.
I don't know. Wait, I'm still
basically. Is that? I mean, am I the only one that's? It's hard to say. Like, it's hard to make that conclusion. But
what about the people that? And look, keep it in 100. What about the times where you just like, why do I love this person? This is a fucking terrible shit person. They are not good for me, but I genuinely love them. You don't. That's not a choice at that point. You're not choosing that because you're like, I don't want this.
You're not choosing that, but I think at some point...
you get to choose your actions.
Right. So at some point you...
are choosing what's best for you. But you're not... But you can't make yourself stop. You know what?
So it sounds like...
Right. Okay. All right.
Love is a choice.
All right.
I don't know. Tell us. What do you guys think?
Yeah, because that one has me stumped. Okay. So, what's your thoughts on this? That life doesn't just happen. Okay, Chrissy. So instead, our lives are defined by the choices that we make. So there's, you've heard the saying, there's no consequences. And so some of these choices are ours, okay? Yeah. And some of these choices are made by other people. So like our parents or school administrators, there's a lot of stuff. So do we just accept those decisions that were made on our behalf and just follow along? Or how do you, if you don't accept them, what does that mean?
So I will say that for the sheeple, sheeple out there,
shade.
Those are the ones who kind of just accept it and continue on. Like, there's no question about it. These are the choices that was made in my family and, generations before. And so this is what I'm going to do. Like, some of you are practicing a certain religion and you don't really question it. You don't understand why deep down inside, but it's just been what was in your family. So, but then there are also people who start to question, like, I don't know. Like, does this make sense? Is this for me? So I think that for those who are able to think outside of the box, they're able to create the life that they really desire and want. Like, I feel like, they're able to, like, those who don't go along just to get along, those are the ones who then get to the point where they're really digging deep into themselves and getting a better understanding of who they are, and they're able to then just
but what about this though?
Create the life.
Let's say, because this is real talk. Your parents, were pregnant with you at 18, and they decided that it was best for you that they give you up for adoption. Okay. You find it out later in life, and say it's it can start you have questions like especially some questions of worthiness. So in that place, you are living with the decision that somebody else made on your behalf. That was not your choice.
Yeah.
So sometimes people have a problem, like, how do I, because when we're holding ourselves accountable for our actions, especially when you get there, it's easy to do that. But when you feel like, I didn't make this decision and it fucked up my life, you know what I mean? How do people allow themselves to move forward with something like that?
Okay, I feel like that's beyond me.
No, but think about it. How do you let it go?
Well, okay, but I will say that there are some outliers. Like, there are people who have had just a crazy life, and for whatever, God, spirit, whatever, they just have an amazing life. And there are some people who spiral down and get caught up in drugs and kind of go to the wayside and lose themselves. So
what I think it is that
I don't know why.
I think in order for you to accept the decisions that were made on behalf of your life that you had no control over, understand that this is yours. When you get to your starting point where you are making decisions, that's where it's your time. So don't worry yourself. You can't be mad about, because there is nothing, absolutely nothing that you can go back and do and make your parents undecide to not have sex. You know what I mean? You can't undo that because that was out of your control. So the power of choice is it allows you to be in the moment and understand, I have a decision that I can make right this second that's going to affect my life. So if I can make the decision that right now, if I am going to let that my parents didn't want me, I was adopted, and I feel unworthy, I'm making a decision that's going to be my story, or I'm making a decision that my story is that I have such a dimensional story. It is hilarious, and I'm so proud of who I am. Then that's a decision that you make. But know that that's whenever it's your time to make the decision, that's when it's your time.
Right.
And so if you say, but I didn't make that decision, I didn't put that on me, you didn't. You're right. You didn't make that decision, but you do get to choose whether or not you're going to carry around somebody else's decision.
Hello. And so I want to repeat this quote that Mia shared earlier. Using the power of decision gives you the capacity to get past any excuse to change any and every part of your life in an instant.
In an instant.
That's deep.
And you know what? And I don't want to trivialize this like that's so easy to do. Because it's really not. I'm going to be honest with you.
Not.
Because it's so easy to be like, but this happened to me. I did not ask for this. Because it almost feels like somebody's trying to be mean to you or belittle your experience. You're like, okay, let me try this again, you dumb whore. I was a kid. There was nothing that I had no control. What do you mean I made? And so, like, when people say stuff like, Kanye did the like slavery is a choice. People took that it's just like, how dare you? Like, I didn't necessarily have a choice for this. There was nothing that I could do in that time. And so that's not the message. The message is, yes, it happened. Mm-hmm. It happened in your life. Now your choice comes in as what you're going to do about it, how you are going to respond to it, how you are going to allow that to penetrate your heart, to either close it off or to be able to show compassion for everybody. Like, there's so many different ways that can go, and how it can affect your life, and that's the part you have control over.
Right.
Not that it happened, but you have control over whether or not or how much something like that affects your life today, and that's the power.
Yeah,
because you can't go back in time.
Yeah, you can't go back, but you can choose to how you react. You can choose to that. And so then, what do you think about choices defining us? Do you think our choices define us?
Ooh. It's kind of, I feel like that's one of those that the chicken,
snacks.
I feel like that's one of those, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Because I think the decisions the choices that we make are totally out of who we believe ourselves to be, but also the choices that we make define who we are. Yeah. So it's kind of like, which one of those came first? Mm-hmm. What do you think? I think they define our life experience.
Yeah, I don't think choices need to define us, because I think in every stage of our lives, the choices that we've made, they're going to change based on lessons that we've learned, because hopefully when we make not so good choices, we'll learn from them and not make the same choice over again. Because if you are doing the same thing over again, thinking that you're going to get a different outcome, that's insanity. So I don't think that choices should define us, because we learn from hopefully we are learning from our mistakes. So things that I've done in my teens, my 20s.
But I'll tell you, not necessarily defining, but I think it's part of your story. But I think it's part of your story.
I think unfortunately it has, because I will say that, I am considered the black sheep, I guess, or the free-spirited, And I guess that's based off of choices that I've made. Just in high school and getting a tattoo when I was 15.
But you're considered that in your family. But do you consider yourself that?
I'd have to say compared to them, yeah.
Okay, so their label, and I'll say this real talk, because this is something powerful for the women. Somebody's label of you doesn't define who you are. Right. That's just their fucking label of you.
We make the choice to allow it to happen.
So if someone calls you a hoe, and if you
oh my God, I am a hoe.
Right, and if you decide to think, oh, okay, well, I guess that's what I am, then you take on that. Just because somebody says something, do you ever think about how easy it is that we allow someone's words to have so much effect on our life and how we see ourselves? When you really break it down, it's actually kind of fucking embarrassing.
That was my first marriage. Ashamed. That was my first marriage.
Like, we need to be ashamed of ourselves. Like, you a whole nother person.
That takes maturity.
I know, but when I look back on it, seriously, y'all.
When I tell you, when I got to the point where my ex-husband, he called me everything under the sun, I'm like, okay, what do you have next? What next? You already called me that. What's next? Okay, you've said that. You've used that. Give me a new one. Give me a new one. It pissed him off, because he couldn't get to me.
It's the penetration of it. Yeah. As you let that penetrate to your mind, somebody says you stupid. Like, so now I'm going to believe that, because you said I'm stupid. Somebody says you're brilliant, and And if we are to accept, if we say, you know what, I'm like silly putty, whatever somebody imprints on me, then guess what? Here's another choice you need to make. Be around people who pour into you. Be around people who will pump you up. Be around people who will tell you, girl, no. Yes, your track is showing, but you still beautiful. Because that's building you up.
Not your track.
Your track. No, real, like, you know what I mean? If you need, be honest with who you are and what you need to build yourself up. Mm-hmm. Like, real.
And being honest with yourself, that's actually for those people who are asking, well, how can someone learn to make good choices? Like, how do I get to the point where I feel like I'm making good choices? That's actually one of the things, is to be honest with yourself. I
tell you this, when you're trying to make a decision whether or not you're making a good choice, as you're going through your pros and cons on the list, if there's anything on there that says, where you're saying, I want people to, or it's something about what other people will think of you when you make these decisions, and that's when you need to stop immediately. Because remember, the question you need to be asking yourself is, how the decision that I make, how is it going to best serve myself? And that's not sounding selfish. That doesn't mean best serve myself and kill everybody else. It's just, I still have to be me in this body with the decisions and the choices that I make, and experience that. What I plant right now in this soil is coming back to me. Mm-hmm. Just to me. And so if I know that I take this one, I plant it, it's coming back later, but that's what everybody else is doing. And, I don't want them to think I'm a lame, so I'm going to do that. But you don't want that fruit. You're allergic to that, but you're going to do it anyway. That's a decision and a choice you made. So you can't be mad at yourself later. You just got to say, yep, I did make that. Not doing that again. I learned that lesson. Yeah. When you don't necessarily have to get hit over the head with the ugly fruit.
Right. You got to learn from your mistakes.
Planted. One way or another, you're going to learn a lesson. Yeah. You're making a decision on how you're going to learn the lesson. Because you can't run from it.
That's facts. Ooh, so the lesson is going to come regardless.
It's coming.
Doesn't matter if you turn left, you turn right.
You can make a lesson. You can make it take a lot longer if you want to, sure.
Yeah, this is true.
But it's going. She coming.
Yeah, so that lesson. And I do believe that,
she coming.
If something is for you, it is going to get to you regardless.
And then we mean that on both sides.
Right.
Whether that in abundance or a lesson. If it's for you, it's coming to you.
They're going to find you. So, when we talk about just learning from your mistakes, but let me ask you this. So I also think that sometimes difficult choices have to be made in order to put your happiness first. Like you talked about, just, focusing on yourself. Sometimes you have to make a choice that is very, very hard in order to...
Like, what do you mean? Like, when you mean like a difficult choice? Break it down. Break it on down.
Okay. So, in my previous marriage, he was physically abusive. And in the back of my head, I didn't want to be another statistic, and so I stayed a little bit longer. But I eventually decided to make the choice to leave that relationship. Mm-hmm. And that was hard for me because he'd always done everything. Like, he did everything. He paid the bills. He did everything. And I didn't have to, pretty much we had our account, and he took care of everything. So everything was done for me. So it was just hard, but I got to a point where I had to focus. Like, I focused on my children. And so I had to make the choice to be a statistic, be a single parent to 2 kids, which was fine. But most importantly, I wanted my children to be in a loving
So you're
household.
saying that you made the difficult decision to be a statistic. Like, just instead of not being in a peaceful and happy situation.
It was both.
But my question, or what my thought would be, now I'm sure now you get this, where you get to the point where I don't care if some because being a statistic is what somebody else is going to think of you. That's what I'm saying. So when if you guys are making decisions thinking about, I don't want to be this or labeled at this, that's something that somebody else is doing to you that's none of your fucking business.
Right.
So stay in your lane. So ultimately you did make the decision that was best for you, and the fears and thoughts of how you were going to be labeled and what was going to happen, all that shit is gone because you thriving and you move forward and you found your way. And it's now looking back at it, you're like, oh, that's hilarious. The fact that was even a thought.
That was a difficult choice for me. Right,
it was difficult. But now looking back on it, it's like, now looking back on it, you see like, it
needed to happen.
It needed to happen that way. And this monster of me being labeled like this is not a real thing. Because at the end of the day, if that monster says, oh no, everything's fine, Chris, you're such a good person, is that monster gonna pay your bills?
No.
Is this monster gonna put food in your baby's bellies? No, this monster's not gonna do all that. If you don't, all the monster's gonna do is talk shit about you and still not pay your bills, girl. Bye.
But see, I think that also comes from maturity too. Because when you're younger, you are really caring about what other people think of you.
No.
Not now, though.
For certain. And I definitely gave a fuck. I gave a lot of fuck. But
where's the pizza?
Right, but I would say that if I could help someone not give a fuck as long by listening to this and understanding that what we're fearing will happen when we give a fuck is not a real thing, I'm gonna say it loud and proud. Trust me, y'all, this is not I've never been like that. I don't understand. I'm like, no. This is the understanding that I've come to. It's just like, oh shit, and it's so easy. And this is one of those super quick and easy, like change your life in an instant. Like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like for real, it does not matter. Change your life instantly because now it's all about what empowers you, what makes you feel good. That's life changing. That's like not making decisions and choices for your life under the thumb of what somebody else is going to think about you and realizing that's not who gives a fuck, girl.
And I have to tell you that once I got to the point where I stopped hiding and I stopped pretending, life changer. I don't care what anyone thinks. It's
freedom. This is so much freedom. And it allows you to make decisions and choices that are best for you. And here's the thing, real talk, when you are making decisions and choices that are best for you, especially when you are in conscious awareness of who you are as a person and who you are as a part of the collective, it's not to hurt somebody else. The right decision for you is not to put bad energy out there or try to do something mean to somebody. That's never going to be the right decision for you. You choosing, like, so say like it's you and a friend, you guys both are up for the same job, and you saying, I want this job for me, doesn't mean you're doing something bad to her. Like, you don't know what her calling is. That doesn't mean that she isn't, in line to receive something. Like, we all play roles in each other's life, and we're all here for a reason. So don't put that extra added. Like, if I make the decision that's right for me, that means I'm hurting somebody else. Get that out your head. You don't have that much power, baby. Like, you don't have that much power over somebody else's life. Just like somebody is a character in your, just like how people are characters in your play, we're characters in somebody else's play. Okay? Like, it literally is all the same. So take your time with your decisions and your choices, but be certain. And when I say feel no fear or worries or anxiety about making the right decision for you. It's always right. When it's for you, it's always right, and everything will be as it should. Because then if everybody does that, it would be a beautiful freaking world. If literally everybody just make the right decision for themselves, the right decision for themselves.
And that also falls into under the how can someone learn to make a decision? So we talked about being honest with yourself. And really coming to an understanding that you have the power of choice. And then what you just said kind of goes in line with what number 2 is, and it's follow your heart. Also, a combination of 3 too is asking yourself, is the choice you're making, is it making you happy? Because we want to focus on ourselves. Like, I think oftentimes we think about doing for other people and making sure that everyone else is okay, but we don't focus on ourselves and put energy and our time into ourselves.
I would like Liz. I want to make this practical, like for how people are because what I can't. It's like I'm not even joking. Every client that I had in the past 2 weeks is all about making. And one of my really good friends from college, I've been talking to her a lot, and it's about making a choice and decision whether or not to stay in the relationship that they're in or to keep fighting for it or to walk away. And so I feel like this is something that a lot of people are encountering right now. Like, oh my goodness. So I'll say this. We're going to go down this list. Being honest with yourself. So as you are going through, do I need to stay, do I need to stay with Dre? I'm making up a name, y'all, Jesus Christ. But I'm just saying, if this hit different for you, my bad. Hey, should I stay with Dre? You got to be honest with yourself. And know that if someone has continually showed you, this is for somebody very specific. I can hear people like that. Like this is, if someone has continually showed you who they are, and this is just a reminder, like, oh no, at this point, baby, this is your choice. This is your choice. And be honest with yourself that this is who they are.
Right.
There's so many things. Like, just start like, okay, accept this is who this person is. And then the next decision you got to be honest with yourself is, I'm choosing to be with this person. Is that what I mean? Is that what I'm saying? And if that's what you're like, yes, I'm choosing to be with this person because I got a plan. Boom, bam, bam, boom, cool. Mm-hmm. But if you have one of these people trying to fool yourself to thinking that no, he's going to be better, she's going to be less materialistic later, and stop. They are who they are, and you need to be honest with yourself about what you're choosing to be with. Right.
And I will say that at some point in time you did realize who they were, but you just chose to ignore it.
Cheers. Real talk.
I'm just putting that out. I'm just
real talk.
Putting that out there.
And so when you're literally trying to make, like, so when we talk about you have a choice, so then somebody was like, I don't have a choice because if I don't go along with what they want, then she'll leave me or he'll leave me.
You have a choice.
Right. Okay, cool. So
let's
talk about what your choice is. My self-respect. The fact that I know that I should know that I deserve better, that I deserve someone to love me, or am I choosing to be with someone who treats me like nothing, who does not respect me, and I'm making the choice to this is what I want my life to be.
Yeah, and that's a choice.
But you have a choice.
Yeah,
and it's. That real talk. What's more important, you or them? Real talk. And that's literally what it comes down to. And if you make a choice to stay, that's the choice that you made. If you make the choice to go, so yes, there are something that comes with that as well. You will be by yourself for a while. They will probably be by yourself for a while. Yeah. Then you'll grieve. It's gonna hurt, and you get to the point where you like, oh my God, I'm so good. I can't believe I'm so happy I dodged this damn bullet. Ooh, I can't believe I stayed that long. Growth and healing. You stay. You know exactly what you're gonna get.
Yep.
Everything will be fine. 3 weeks later, he's gonna do the same dang on thing. He gets caught in the lie, and then you know it kind of dismissive, and then you back in the same position where now you're trying to figure out his new code on his phone. Like you going through this. That's a choice and a decision.
Sounds like she knows something.
I'm not a phone checker. You know I'm an ignorant, but I'm like I already know. But real talk though. Yeah. You have a decision, a choice. So, and then you got to ask yourself as you're, trying to figure out whether or not you're going to stay with Dre. Is this what I really want? Am I truly happy in this? Or is it just, I feel like I don't want to lose? Real talk. Do I have any joy in me?
Right.
Or I feel like I'm acting in a play? That's the real talk.
And I think when it comes down to it, regardless of how things look, we have to put ourselves first.
Yes.
And I think, often, I say this all the time, like, we're just so used to, oh, well, she has a problem, or, we look to other people, and, I think we just have to remember to focus on ourselves. I think we tend to think outside of ourselves. We tend to blame outside of ourselves. It even boils down to making a choice. A lot of times we feel like we can't make a choice because so-and-so, is causing us to remain in the situation that we're in. But we have the power of choice. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think regardless, you have to really focus on yourself. Like, does this make me happy? And it does not make you a selfish person at all. When you are focusing on yourself and your happiness, it does not make you a selfish person.
And then also think about why it is that you're making the decisions that, like,
right.
Sometimes it's very difficult to make the best decision from you when you're not in a sound place. So this is another advantage of this journey and really learning yourself. You have an awareness. You're like, hold on, nah, sis. Like this, I have these conversations with myself. I'm like, nah, sis, you're not in a good space right now to have this conversation or to make this decision because you're charged. So so when you have knowledge of self, I'm not in the space to make a good decision for me right now, or you know what I mean? Like, I need time, or my body's like, why am I feeling like this? My body's trying to tell me something. Hold on, pause. As soon as you open your mouth to say something, all of a sudden you're coughing and choking. When you have knowledge of yourself, you're like, oh, that's a sign from my body. Hold on, give me 5 minutes. Let me think about this. When you follow those nudges, like I'm telling you, like knowledge yourself and really getting into who you are is so freaking powerful and beautiful.
And it does not make you selfish.
And it doesn't make you selfish. It just helps. It's literally like having a Jiminy Cricket, the crickets on your shoulders. I'm like, it's so beautiful because you feel so divinely guided. Mm-hmm. And even when you're like, oh, I need to go down this road, but it's ugly down there for a minute, it allows you to have faith through the bullshit because you're like, this is for a reason too. And you know that the universe is always conspiring on your side to give you what you love and what you deserve and what you desire. And so that the knowledge of self, this journey is beautiful. Speaking of which, I almost forgot. So I wanted to remind you guys, because we're talking about knowledge of self, the self-mastery package that we have right now. I'm going through March. We have 3 different packages where we can there's readings, healing sessions, depending on which package you get. If you get there is the I Am Curious package for our beginners who are just like, let me see what's going on. I'm just trying to dip my toe in. I want to make sure there's no crocodiles in the water. We got you. That's the I Am Curious package. And so oracle reading, a reading for me, and a healing session with Christy, 30 minutes. And then for those that have become, I'm on a soul adventure. I'm just saying, these people like, okay, I'm in the game. I'm up in here. What's going on? I got questions. Right, I got questions. I need to know. I'm doing this. What's next? And there's a booklet that comes with that. We customize with affirmations for you. A reading, a healing session, a crystal consultation. Like, it's lit. It's beautiful, and it's customized just for you.
Yeah.
And it kind of gives you a rundown of where you're healing and where you are just shining and popping your petals, pink. And then the final package, the granddaddy of packages, as you will, is I am master. I
think it's I am master.
I am master, or it's like I think it's I am master, I am master of self. This package, so it's all of that, and then
I am master of self.
Oh, there you go, cool. And then there's all the things, but it's over an hour for your reading, for your healing section. The book that comes with it, with your affirmations, your it's helping you set intentions for this year, so we'll have that in your booklet. With crystals are best for you in your healing journey at this time, and a couple of other things that and a free guided meditation that we recorded. So
Yes.
Yes. For the peoples, because we're about to raise the consciousness. And how important, we talking about how important it is to know yourself. All right, Christy, what's your takeaway? I'm done.
So my takeaway is to acknowledge that you are never just powerless. You have a choice to live a happier version of yourself. You honestly do, and I think that's just, you have to get to that point where you acknowledge it. That's my takeaway.
What she said. I would say, my major takeaway is, sometimes it is the grandness of accepting who you are. Is sometimes just like this, just a little overwhelming. Like, and especially think about your power to create. One of the best ways to get comfortable with okay with what you're able to do for your life is taking advantage of the power of choice that you have in your life. That's something easy. That's day to day.
Yeah.
And be honest with yourself. Sometimes the best choice for you may not be the cute, right? It may be like, no, I need to stay with fuckboy because, he's security right now and I need security. Hey, let me tell you something, sis. What works for you works for you. Mama, no. Look, I'm like, look, it ain't always been this cute.
No.
You have to do what's best for you at that time. Don't judge yourself, but be honest with yourself that this, and it gives you so much power because you're like, I know I'm doing what's right for me.
Right.
All right. Simple work.
And again, that's just you focusing on self. And it's okay. That's some beautiful stuff. So this, and honestly, this simple work. Okay, I know y'all sick of me having y'all write all the time. So this one is not. We're not writing. Our temple work for the week is. I want you every time to this week, as you're making decisions throughout your day, to be conscious of the fact that the power that you are employing in yourself. Like, this is my power and I'm making a decision. When it's like, okay, if you're about to make your daily order from Uber Eats, I don't know who does that, I'm just saying, not me. From Uber Eats or Grubhub or whatever, your DoorDash, whatever, you're making a decision like, okay, this is how much money I'm spending, and this is what I'm choosing to put in my body. Just be conscious of every decision you make. You turn on TV, what are you about to watch on Netflix? Are you about to turn on the news? Be conscious. I am making a conscious effort to digest this information in me right now. So, and the reason I want you guys to do this week is because you start to realize how much of our power we give away so quickly and easily, just going along with everything. All the time.
Like, even like the simple stuff. You are brushing your teeth. I'm choosing to brush my teeth with this toothpaste. Hold on, why did I choose this toothpaste? Is it because out of these, you know what I mean? Like, just literally, you guys, think about every choice that you make that you allow somebody else to make for you in your life. At this stage in your life when you can make your decisions. Take your power back. That's the homework and the message.
Reclaim your power.
Reclaim your power. What we got?
All right, so this week's featured crystal is fluorite, which is it's a really cool crystal. So fluorite, it's a calcium fluoride crystal with the Mohs hardness of 4. So you definitely don't want to put in your water, but it can grow in a variety of colors, which basically includes but isn't limited to green, purple, white, pink, black. And so fluorite is it's lent its name to the property of fluorescence, the display of the vivid glowing colors under the ultraviolet light. So spiritual properties of fluorite. So fluorite is considered a force of order in the stone kingdom, giving form and structure to energies, ideas, and concepts, and helping them to manifest in 3-dimensional reality. And so fluorite can also act as a psychic vacuum cleaner, helping to clear out the atmosphere of confusion, cluttering thoughts, negativity, and any sort of astral hangers on. And so in tarot, Swords are the suit which embody the mental powers, and the image of the sword is an intelligence cutting through the uncertainties of potential with the power of choice, and it's a potent one. And so fluorite is the crystal which most clearly emanates the sword's energy. And so with this being said, those who need to make many clear-headed choices in quick succession in order to navigate the waters of their life, fluorite, it can honestly be a great ally. If you decide to work with it. And so you guys know how I meditate. If I work with a crystal, I meditate holding in my left hand. But honestly, I don't work with fluorite. I have a pendulum, and then I have like some fluorite.
Do you use your fluorite pendulum?
I do. I love it. Like, it's one of my favorite pendulums. I feel like the answers are very clear. Like, it's very clear.
When COVID first started, or was becoming a thing, I kind of was like, okay, let me go put my little COVID healing kit together, just in case, I'm like, because this thing's not invited in my house.
Right.
And so, again, I made a choice that that's not about to be a thing up in my household, but whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, but
it's
whatever.
All a choice.
Fluorite was one of the crystals that I got because it's a healing stone. I got green fluorite, and it's such a good healing stone. So I put one in my bedroom right next to my bed, and one in Jade's bedroom right next to her bed. Like, just and my father, who has been he's been fighting cancer. I went out to my parents' house and I took a big piece of quartz and a big piece of fluorite, prayed over it, Ricky, and put it underneath his bed.
Really?
Yes. So I believe it's to me it's I use it in healing. It's they got my real talk. For real. So I haven't meditated with it, but I have definitely used it in healing.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Well, that's cool. I have not used it for healing.
Use it for grids, though.
Yeah, I used it for grids. But no, that's so cool. That is so cool. Okay, so an affirmation that I thought of for today is I am reclaiming my power of choice in the best interest of my higher self. I think, again, focusing on ourselves and what is best for ourselves. So
I feel like our message from Spirit has been kind of throughout this what is the word, this episode. So so the one thing that is coming up is there's an awakening coming, and the awakening that is happening is like right this second.
It's been happening.
Is more, and I'm talking from a spiritual level, is more of people remembering who they are. And knowing it, and so some people's awakening will be very vivid and like, oh my God, this is who I am. They'll remember like this. Oh, I literally have God in me. And some will get to a point where there is just the something's amiss. I'm missing something. I'm supposed, you know what I mean? Like this is not it. And so this mass awakening is necessary. It's beautiful. It is it's scary. But it is as it is. However, everyone will have a choice of whether or not you want to be awakened. Because understand, sometimes what we're awakening to is a very different, especially if we're holding on to our ego version of what we've been trained or, programmed to believe what is beautiful in life. It may be really different from that. So the question is, you have a choice on what, I don't want to say what side of the fence you want to be on, but you do have a choice as to how you want to walk through this life. And if the way that you want to walk through life is different than what you feel like everybody around you is believing or seeing or doing, know that the universe protects those who believe in themselves. So walk in your faith. Like there are no answers outside of you about how you or who you or when you should be who you are. That is all within you. You might need somebody to help you remind you and wake that up inside of you, but that is all within you. Choose you. When you choose you, every time everything is as it should be. And that's it.
Every time.
Every time.
Wow.
Yes. So, you guys.
Yes, y'all.
Yes. Today's inauguration day. We started new.
Yep.
I will say, it was. I'm excited that it feels like a new day in that, and I don't suffer fools lightly about shit like this. What I'm saying is it feels like a new day in the fact that I think more people seeing what is capable out of something that they said is totally cannot happen changes people. So Kamala Harris being inaugurated today, being the first Black, the first Asian American and woman
Yep.
in the history of this
All
country.
that.
Whether or not you agree with her politics or you like her or whatever, that none of that matters. It's just that has never been done before. So when we as a mass collective see things that have never been done before, it allows us to dig into ourselves and see what you can do that you haven't done yet. Like anything is possible. So I appreciate being able to witness and be a part of, wow, it's just a reminder, like, I can do whatever the fuck I want to do.
Yeah.
And anybody can.
Power of choice.
Power of choice. So, happy 2021, you guys. You know, like, real talk, it is what it is. The only thing you can control is you. And we're just, hopefully we're giving you the tools and the confidence to do you, to choose you.
Yep. And how you respond.
But knowing you. And it is what it is. So thank you for listening to Two Queens
Thank you,
and Crystal
guys.
Things. Please, before we go, show us some love. Spread the word.
Yeah,
Thank you
share.
so much. Share. Leave us a rating.
Man, shout out to everybody who's listening to us.
Yes.
And outside of the
Send
U.S.
us a DM. Two Queens, Crystal Things.
Yep.
We respond to everybody, and we thank you. So the next episode, stay tuned next week. Episode 3, Season 2, we are talking about self-love. Let's get into it.
Self-love.
Choose love, y'all. All right.
Thank you.
Light, peace, love,
And so